Hello, I'm Thomas Carruthers.
I'm Will Leggetter.
And today we start another new venture.
We do.
When it comes to TV, we have discussed Inside Number 9, which is what I like to call our joint favourite show.
Yeah.
And then we basically each got a choice. And you chose Mad Men. I don't know what your official... you chose Peep Show. I don't know what your official rankings are of favourite shows, but it's Peep Show 1, Inside Number 9 second, or no, I don't know.
No, I prefer Number 9 to Peep Show.
Yeah, it is infinitely better.
It's I agree with that. You can't you can't try to. You think you're making me? No, I agree. Number 9 is just beautiful. In fact, I was only watching Steve Pemberton because I'm on Benidorm at the minute.
Oh yes.
Those
early episodes were great.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Because it were fun and it were real, and then it basically turned into a bit of a soap opera.
Yeah, we might have to do a Benidorm special. That might be fun. But Matteo, Jake, what's he called? Jake, he's brilliant. I like his because he's. Whenever someone accuses him of being gay, he's like, "I'm not a muffalata." Just his strange Spanish saying.
I'm not a muffalata. Wasn't he in?
And then he got caught having sex with another man.
No, I'm saying Anita Muffalata. Wasn't he the little red guy in Voyage of the Damned?
Banacafalata.
Anita Muffalata. I'm not a muffalata. Strong. I'm not a muffalata. Cyborg. Oh God!
We are the same person.
They are the same in many ways. In many ways, we're all about Banacafalata. This has all been leading up to this preamble. Is that I got my choice? Peep Show for years and years and years has been the show that you've always said that you need me to watch, and I've ignored it because the things I did see I didn't like, and I knew I wouldn't like it. I didn't hate it, but I don't think I'll ever return to it. Mad Men.
It's opened up your vocabulary, and we can now share. And at the lowest of the low, memes even, or just references, some niche. Because I do find myself quoting it a lot, just with everyday life, and it's a good one for that.
It is. The show that I've always wanted you to watch. The show that I think is almost unequivocally, perhaps, the greatest television series of all time, one of the finest pieces of media of all time. It's the American epic of our generation. They told the story of the American epic in novel form, then they told it in film, and now Matthew Weiner told it in Mad Men, in TV. I do. I think when it comes specifically drama, for me, there is no finer series. This is I think it's my fourth or my fifth rewatch. I was fourth. This will be my, I think, official fourth watch. I had an ex who was watching it, who I made watch it, and fortunately enjoyed it. So I was
doing the same to me.
We have less sex, unfortunately.
It's like it's the house at the end of the street.
What? Is that Jennifer Lawrence?
Yeah, and he lost his sister, so he kidnaps women and makes them into his sister, and treat. Give that a watch. It's bad. It's very
upcoming
bad.
Episode. We should do a fortnight of episodes with films that start with the house at the end of the street, the house on Haunted Hill. That's it.
But yeah, maybe just house in the name, because then we could do Monster House.
Oh, Monster House, yeah.
Which is the greatest house film of all time.
Monster House started my basically adoption of adoption is not a thing you want to bring up in the same sentence as Woody Allen, but the adoption of Woody Allen isms in real life, because in Annie Holly obviously doesn't want to go into the cinema once the film started, and we were late to Monster House, and I said, no, let's watch a different film. We did watch it, and I missed and I was like halfway through the like spooky start. So we've got a very interesting dynamic, because I've seen it so many times, but every time I see something new. And Will, this is your first watch.
It is.
We're going to get into it all, but on a surface level, after watching the first 13 episodes of this show, what is your opinion so far?
Yes, and I think the emphasis is on so far.
Okay.
That my current reaction to watching series 1 is I'm looking forward to finding out what happens next in these people's lives. And I think that's a very good way of putting it.
That is true. And it's that weird thing of this first series is excellent, in my opinion. And especially near the end of the season.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, oh my God, I can't believe that it gets better than this every season. Yeah. It shocks me.
I think I did feel quite a few episodes were set up episodes for overarching plot lines and that sort of thing. Especially it gets to the end now, we find a lot more about sort of the mysteries around Don Draper, and I'm looking forward to how this is going to play along.
Oh yeah, Donald Draper. I have often contended.
It took me until like episode 6 to realize he was called Donald. I'm like, Don, such an American name.
Don. And see, I'd love to call a child Donald, but Donald Trump's ruined that. He's got two great idols to look up to: a philandering depressive, and Donald Trump.
A cartoon duck.
And a cartoon duck. The Holy Trinity. The way that we do this is that we do some rankings. You have your ranking of each season consists of 13 episodes, apart from season 7, which is in 2 parts and is 2 parts of 7 episodes. So we'll get to there when we get to there. But first off the bat, we're going to be cutting 3 loose, and we're just doing our top 10s, and then we will come together, and then we will come together and make the our collective 10. And in the middle of that, we've got some little categories that we do. So let's get straight into this incredible series. Will, what's your number 10?
My number 10. Oh, so I won't give you 12, 13, and 11. I'll just give you.
Go on. No, go on. Give me 11. Let's.
I'll tell you the ones I've cut off.
Yeah, go for those. Yeah.
I've cut off episodes 5, 9, and 10.
Let me get it. So you've cut 5G. We're not going to talk about that because that's in my ranking.
Okay.
5, 9.
Yeah.
You've cut Shoot, which I also have in my ranking. Yeah. And what was the other one?
10.
Wow. Okay, long weekend. Yeah. Okay. I cut Ladies' Room. I cut.
I'm gonna have to get me prime up here because I've put numbers down, not names.
No, the names are so good. Will.
I know, but when I'm writing down, I'm like that.
Yes, Ladies' Room is number 2. It's our second episode, and then where we meet Betty after getting her for 30 seconds or so at the end of episode 1. We then meet her properly in Ladies' Room, which we're going to talk about because it's in your top 10. And oh my God, what else have I cut? Did I cut Babylon? I cut Babylon. That's a great episode. See, this is the problem. I personally don't think that there is a bad episode.
Yeah.
None of these. Like Inside Number 9, we always sort of knew straight away what our 5th and number 1 was.
Yeah, I definitely know in series 1 as well what my number 1 is, but I don't know if it's the same as. I'd like to think it's the same as yours because of certain things, but then again, Mad Men is different because it's a cool drama, and you're more appreciative of writing, where I'm like, yeah, I liked that, even though I'm getting into writing now. But
Yeah, I get. Well, right. You know what? Before we get into it, let's talk about the reputation of Mad Men. Why did you avoid it? Because you did famously watch, what was it, 3 episodes or 2?
2.
You watched 2 episodes 5 years ago, and you made a very good comment, which was they're talking about the election, and I forgot that the election's mentioned in episode 2, and I thought you were at the end of season 1. I said, "Oh, that's great. What did you think of Roger's heart attack?" And then and you were like, "Oh yeah."
Luckily, I forgot you said that.
Yes, I did. And
Yes.
and so, what turned you off that first time?
I don't know. Maybe even the running time. They're about 50 minutes, aren't they, each?
Yeah, they're about 47.
I've always been less of a sit down watch person, and I always like to be doing something as well. But I still do appreciate it. But that's why I always find, if I'm going to start a new series, something light-hearted or a comedy is always easier to appreciate doing something else. It was more of a commitment.
You had to
me.
sit down,
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing. On the surface level, nothing happens each episode. For our audio listeners, I'm doing the hugest goddamn like my dad.
Crap hands.
We started with my dad for the first 3 episodes, and then he was like, "Oh no, I'm working tomorrow. I can't." And I said, "Well, no, I have to watch it for the show." And he said, "Well, it's all right. I'll catch up." And it was like a dagger. So I was like, and he said, "No, I'm pretty sure I'll catch up." Like, and his tone and manner was that nothing happens, and that you could catch up very quickly. I just think if you get into that mindset, you're watching the wrong show. Ava Robinson, previous guest, famously loves to rub in my face that she turned off the first episode halfway through and watched SpongeBob SquarePants. She just loves saying it because it's a funny thing to say.
I sympathise for that. I know exactly what she was going through.
So was it a tail end that you got?
It took me until I'd say 2/3 into it to get invested. I did struggle, like especially the first half, relating to. It's a new thing, so getting to know character names, etc. They're the smaller stuff, but I was unsure. I was like, okay, this might be more of a struggle to do all the series because I'm not really getting it at the minute. But because I guess it was comparing that to the idea I had of it, and I always expected this really sleazy salesman-esque Wall Street sort of series, but it's a lot different to that.
Well, my grandma watched it before I did, and she recommended it. And at a young age, she was like, "Tom can watch it, but there's a lot of sex." And I guess that there is a lot of sex. We don't see any though because it's network television.
It's an American thing, so that there won't be much of the nudity.
There's not much nudity. There is an F word. There are more F words, but it's like season 5, and it's like the young writers coming in. It's not really a spoiler. And he's like, "Fuck." And Don looks at him because obviously he's from a different generation, and he goes, "Why are you swearing?" Like, and then in the sort of, and it's very, very well done. It's an incredible show. Let's get into.
Let's get into
it. So, what did you have at number 10?
Number 10, I have, and I'm going to do it by name as well. You'll appreciate that. I have Indian Summer, episode 11.
Great episode. That was a cut for me, and lovely.
Oh, there you go. So that's a similar,
similar ranking. So, Indian Summer. That's the paralleling sexual explorations of Peggy Olson and Betty Draper. Peggy is given the relaxerciser to try out. She is at this point what we think is just some nervous overweight gain. We obviously come to learn.
That's very well done, because I didn't want to say anything, but it's around about 2/3 of the way through. I'm like, she's a lot bigger than she was in episode 1, and I didn't, because obviously that's very rude to say. And then with the big reveal, you're like, wow, they've done that. That was very cleverly done.
It was very done.
It creeps upon you.
This is the first episode where she starts wearing prosthetics around her face and padding. The relaxerciser was a real thing. That's another thing that I think is you can appreciate, is that they're mentioning real things.
Yeah.
You know, we know about Lucky Strike cigarettes. Coca-Cola is this huge thing for Don. That's his great white whale. He wants to advertise for Coca-Cola. And whereas if it was, I've always wanted to advertise for Fizzy Pop.
Kook.
Yeah, Kook. Splunk. What was it called in like Futurama or something? Sprunk.
It's Kook in IT Crowd.
Yes, it is. Yes, the sexual explanation. We find out that the relaxerciser doesn't lose much weight, but as Peggy puts, it vibrates. And we also have Don getting his rocks off, for lack of a better word, with Rachel. That's going quite well. And Betty has a certain fantasy with the.
She's just washing her clothes.
She's just washing her clothes, and then suddenly strikes up, which Will have heard many times as he comes to my quizzes, and I play it all the time, and I'm always thinking about Betty in the washing machine, and everyone's going, "Oh, this is lovely."
Bet you are, you dirty
man. You dirty bastard. No, Why did you? Why? What? Because we're in the sort of what you were talking about. We're near the tail end. You're in.
I was in now. I don't know. I think it. I don't want to say, but this is more of the ones where nothing really happens, because it seems like it's just before that final two-parter finale.
It ends. Yeah, it ends
they're
with
sort of restraining themselves, ready to throw everything out at you.
We have the sort of wink wink to be continued of Pete getting the shoebox of the Dick Whitman shoebox, and this obviously also starts with Adam's hanging, I believe, which is just a start.
I think that is not until the final episode. No,
it opens with it.
All right, okay.
It opens with him hanging himself, doesn't it? And then then he sends the shoebox
then the phone
off.
call is it? Yeah,
and then Don finds out. Yeah, at the end. Yeah. So that's just a hell of a way to throw yourself in.
Yeah.
Lots. You know, I was talking. There's a big thing about, you know, and I'm going to sound condescending and patronizing and all that. There's the thing of people not understanding that it's not glamorizing. And I had a long conversation with a woman in Philadelphia, a very incredible, great woman. And we were having this great conversation. And she had experienced harassment and at times in her life. And she agrees. She thinks it's the finest show in the world. But for her, the atmosphere surrounding it of people, you know, and who wouldn't want to be Don Draper? Is understandable.
I think that the message that it sends across and that it does well is because a lot of people say, "Oh, but that's what it was like back in them days." It was what it was like back in them days. But they're still not saying it's a good thing. You still feel incredibly uncomfortable.
Yeah, and we sort of have Peggy as a voyeur. Weigh in Nixon versus Kennedy. There's the bit with Ken pinning down what's her name, Alexis Amarado, something, and pinning down and doing the panty game of like, she's blue, and we get that moment of not just us viewing it, but seeing Peggy's reaction, and the woman from the phone centre.
And then downs her drink when she goes off.
Absinthe. And and Peggy's drinking. It's a good thing that baby is healthy. She's drinking and smoking. I always think of the line in, I think it's Knocked Up, where it's like, are you gonna be one of those women who goes to the toilet one day and shits a baby? I always think of Peggy. But we'll get to that when we get to the wheel.
I mean, that is exactly what I thought when I clicked on the fan episode.
It is the terrible thing that Michael
McIntyre ended up on my shoulder. I hope it gets renewed for many years to come.
It will do. And Peggy ends up having a different effect with the device, as we talked about. And sort of this episode does have that sort of exploration of.
And I do very much like the ending where she looks at herself because obviously the ideal, the original intent behind the product was as a weight loss thing, and she looks in the mirror and she thinks, oh, okay, everyone's been talking about weight loss. They've asked me to do it. Are they trying to tell me something? She starts thinking about her own body, and then she goes to bed, and then she just looks down and goes, hey, you know what? I'm going to use it.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun.
I like
it. To the moon.
Bit tongue in cheek. I like that.
It's it's a great episode. What else are we missing?
Even though you've kicked it off and I put it last.
I have kicked it off. Well, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This is your 10. I can't and also we have Roger coming back. That's his last appearance in the series. I hope
Roger is.
Oh no, Roger's in it till the end.
More Roger.
Oh, Roger!
Thank God.
Roger is
because he were keeling over. I'm like, God, he's one of my favourite parts about this show. We get rid of him. What's it? Yeah.
What do women want? Who cares?
That was Mel Gibson.
Yes, famously. Helen Hunt.
I watched it last night.
It was on last night. Yeah, we watched Bridget Jones's Diary. That was on.
Oh, very good.
And then we watched Bullseye. I've had a lovely day, Jim. Best show in the world. And Roger comes back, and we had that lovely moment with Joan doing his makeup to make him look less sickly, and then obviously keeling over again.
Yeah.
And Mona, who's his real wife, Talia Balsam.
Oh, is it?
Yes, it's she's the daughter of Martin Balsam from 12 Angry Men and Staircase Murder from Psycho.
Oh.
And they are married in real life. But she was actually George Clooney's first wife. She's done well. The fact that you've married George Clooney and then marrying John Slattery isn't a move down is pretty good innings when it comes to marriages. It has to be said. My number 10 is bizarrely Smoke Gets in Your Eyes, our very first Mad Men episode.
Yes.
That I think I've put on purely because I often claim that it is the greatest pilot of all time. Because I just think, I know you were saying it took you a little bit longer to get involved with the characters. But I think in regards to meeting everybody and where do you have Smoke Gets in Your Eyes?
I have that at my number 9. So
Perfect. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So we will talk about it now, and just bringing us into this world, and also that it's not too wide. Lots of bad pilots, I think, have scene after scene after scene of meeting different people, whereas this sort of sticks with Don and sticks with Peggy and a little bit of Pete.
I mean, it does very well of introducing characters. Like one scene that sticks to mind as a character introduction scene, but then also it adds to the plot. It's it's when Peggy first turns up and she's in the lift, and we got the three behind her.
Oh yeah,
that are just chatting away, but these are all key characters, and you've got that rather than going to them one by one.
And it brings us into that. It brings us into that world very effectively. Of what do you call it? Let's go a few more levels. The view's nice here, and then they realise that she's coming to the office to start. and they blow it off, and they're like, oh well, no, they need to know who's in charge around here. So this was filmed a year. So this was in pilot season. This wasn't a commission. So this was filmed an entire year before the second episode was filmed, which is why the picture that Pete holds up isn't Alison Brie.
Yes.
And it's Matthew Warner's mother. So that's the only problem in the entire series for me is that.
But it's like I mean, a funny link. It's my only issue with Toast of London,
Yes,
with the pilot episode, which is a great link in because that was my first introduction to Mad Men. Was the John Hamm episode of Toast?
Yes, and and just that incredible kicker of an ending of him coming home to Betty and the children, and I don't know.
Yeah, because that opening scene where he's with
Midge.
Yes, and you're like, okay, this is his wife.
Yeah, and if it's not his wife, it's his girlfriend or something.
Yeah.
And then he comes home to Betty, and January Jones originally was auditioned for Peggy. I think certainly a better choice for Betty. I think I know we're talking about. It's you've got to talk about it, I guess, discreetly and politely. Elizabeth Moss is not the most conventionally attractive woman, and obviously that is perfect for the role of Peggy, in regards to her place in the show. And no spoilers, but I presume you've figured out yourself that the show ends in 1969. Women's place. I mean, well, you saw it at the end of this season. Peggy's going to keep climbing, and that is one of those great things. She signed on a 7-year contract to play Betty, despite only having 6 lines in the first episode. And Matthew Weiner said to her, "Don't worry." And we sort of have the payoff of that with Ladies' Room in the second episode. Incredible opening of introducing us to Mad Men. The sort of a Mad Men was a term coined by.
As soon as that came out, I'm like, this is classic Tom Carruthers title card. giving something, then giving the definition, and then a funny quip underneath that. It's always 3 things that appear.
Dum bum bum, and that is true. And it brings us. We've got the Lucky Strike. What's happening there with Lucky Strike. And we have, obviously, Pete being a bit snivelly. Pete Campbell, Vincent Carruthers.
Yes, I'll say it outright. I cannot stand Pete.
Did you feel for him in New Amsterdam, the episode where they buy the flat?
No. He gets everything he deserves it all.
When watching New Amsterdam, my mum did say, "It's weird. Oh, now I feel for him as well now," and she was basically describing the concept of good writing, because she just kept saying, "Oh, I feel you're bad because you feel for Betty, but you also want him to be happy, and he's not happy. He's just trying to be something else." And I said, if there's one
It's
word,
the thing, I agree with this whole Dawn and Betty plot line. He's sleeping with other women, obviously.
oh yes,
but it's not the fact that he doesn't love her. It's the fact he's almost punishing himself. There's something in himself that he doesn't know.
Well, I mean,
that's why he does it.
We'll get to it in Nixon v. Kennedy, but that incredible final moment he has with Rachel.
Yeah.
Let's run away. And it's astoundingly well written and performed. And her cutting, you don't want to run away with me, you just want to run away. Yeah. You're a coward. And it's that thing of he's made for himself this new persona of Don Draper. He's literally stolen the bloody chance that he had in life. I love how disgusting and wounded
Yeah, I'm sure we'll get to that.
Oh,
Yeah.
just astoundingly brilliant. And he's forged everything. And then Adam comes, and the random guy on the train. And I think it's Marriage of Figaro, and which we'll get to, the birthday party episode. And it's never brought up again for like 2 more episodes. It's just him going, "Oh, hi, Dick Whitman." And it was my dad. And I was like, wow. Whoa, just excellent stuff. Smoke gets in your eyes. Yeah, we have. I think there's a couple. There's one moment, I think, a couple that are a bit piloty, I like to call it, where it's like, okay, we'll give you a few really obvious things so that you know where this is going. So, like, I feel like Sal's representation, Salvatore, is a bit much in this episode. Like, oh, this place is wonderful and full of men. I know exactly what you mean. It feels a little bit like they're playing their hand, and then you get that incredible scene later. Sorry, go on.
I sort of forgot about that. I didn't really cotton on as much to that because I thought, okay, brush that aside. But then it really did pay off with that dinner. So that the drinks. Wonderful scene.
You should come up and see my view.
And then he just takes the glass, the hand.
Zambuca. But we'll get to, Will, it is great, isn't it? You can just say it's excellent.
It's I'm enjoying where it's going. I won't succumb to it yet, because I think that there are, for me, glaring moments when I'm thinking, oh, someone's written that, rather than this is the world I've been. There's various moments where it's like, okay, and now I'm going to do a really well-written literate monologue, sort of, with lots of fancy words. I'm thinking someone's written that, rather than this is a world that I've been sucked into.
Are you on about the pictures?
There's a few moments, but I'm sure we'll come to them. I think Pete has a lot of those moments.
Yeah, I guess. Like everything in the show, it just gets better. There's the weird moment when he finally has sex with Rachel, and then they're laying together, and she's just like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he just opens up to her. He goes, "My father was killed by getting kicked in the face by a horse. He was an old drunk." And what should come off as lazy writing, this exposition dump, is beautiful, touching, affecting. Anything else to say about Smug Gets in Your Eyes?
Let's move on to, are we on number 8 for me now and 9 for you?
We'll do my 9 then.
Okay.
I have an episode you got rid of.
Okay.
I have Shoot. So this is Betty's.
Again, still at the bottom for both of us, really.
Yeah. Betty coming into rekindling her love of modelling. Little do we know, it's just as a ace in the hole for whilst Don's getting picked up by Jim. This episode's actually weirdly directed by Paul Feig, who directed Bridesmaids and The Heat and Spy.
Oh wow.
And this is So what didn't work for you? What made it miss the cut?
It didn't really go anywhere. It felt like a standalone episode, and it didn't.
Okay.
Other than sort of for Betty's character, for me, it didn't really push the show forward. It had the odd mention, obviously, the campaign, starting with their involvement with the Kennedy propaganda stuff. But yeah.
Okay. That's fair enough. And celebrating the success of the bullpen. And for me though, I think that it's a bit key. I think Ladies' Room, obviously we get more about Betty. She has the nerves, and she crashes the car. But for me, Shoot, I think, is where she sort of takes her power of shooting those pigeons. Also, what an incredible end.
Yeah,
you never see that one coming. She's got the cigarette.
I wanted the guy to come out shaking his things again and just see him and run back inside.
well, it's that shot of I know what's coming, but
Yeah.
she's just smoking and she's just stood there, and you hear the click, and obviously you'd never thought anything of it, but I heard the click and I was like, oh, I forgot you hear a click, and then he just comes into frame, and it's brilliant. And then the stuff with Jim Hobart, who sort of is a looming figure, and he keeps popping up, sort of trying to headhunt Don, and what it takes to win Don over. And I think in regards to it pushing things forward, it establishes his devotion to Sterling Cooper.
Yeah.
And obviously Roger's on the back foot, and he brings in the golf clubs. Well, no, he brings the golf clubs, says that they're from him. They're actually from Jim Hobart, and that sort of stuff. So I can see why you cut it, but it's staying at my number 9. What was your number 8?
Because I've got a list of 13, so I'm 1, 2, 10. At 8, I have number 2. I have
Ladies' Room.
I have a ladies' room.
Well, let's talk about Ladies' Room.
Yes.
Sort of a nice tandem piece to shoot.
Yes.
You've got it at 8.
Yeah. Again, this sort of it brings sort of Betty into the picture. Again, nothing really memorable from this episode. Too much for me to put it too high up. But I thought it was better than the others. Yeah. We meet
Bert Cooper, played by Robert Morse, who we're both musical men. A nice little fun thing is that he was the original J.D. Hudsucker or something, I can't remember the name, of How to Succeed a Business Without Really Trying, which is a nice thing. And for all of the listeners who have already seen Mad Men, there is obviously a nice little reference to that later in the series. But it's very, very
good. Is it a musical number?
No, I won't say.
Oh.
But the just Bert himself, and I love, taking off the shoes and his bizarre office, and he loves Ayn Rand.
Yes.
Just a lovely, lovely, interesting character.
And he doesn't like smoking.
No, he doesn't.
No. Will this come more into play?
No,
just a thing.
There's just another little nice character thing. They're interesting characters.
Yeah.
So they're all smoking herbal cigarettes, these fake cigarettes.
Yes, of course. And what I said, there's a hell of a lot of smoking, and a hell of a lot of drinking, and it's all at work.
And that's the thing. I think people go, I want to be Don Draper. I want to have sex with beautiful women. I want to smoke and drink all the time. Yeah. Who wouldn't want that?
People complained about David Tennant in the that recent where he was the serial killer, the Scottish one.
Yes.
And they were like, why is he smoking in every scene?
Yeah.
And then you watch John Hamm. Every time someone walks into his office, he downs a whiskey.
Well, this is the thing. I was listening to a Twilight Zone commentary with Matthew Weiner, and the guy who was with him, Mark Scott Zekri, was talking about only the bad people in the Twilight Zone episode smoke. And Matthew Weiner said, no, I don't think that's on purpose. You need to think of it as lunch. Like this was just eating for people. This was just as common as absolutely anything. I really don't think there's any point. The people that don't smoke in Mad Men are people that have never smoked in real life. That was just a little choice that Matthew Weiner made of to make it more realistic. Pete Campbell never smokes because Vincent Carruthers has never smoked, but mostly everybody else has.
Yeah.
Never enjoyed smoking. It's a weird tangent. Me and Ava, previous guest Ava Robinson, as she is her full title, have always had the thing of saying, if it wasn't for the cancer and it wasn't for the smell and it wasn't for the money then we'd smoke all the time. But obviously, those three things are a big factor.
They're quite big factors.
We also meet. We have the introduction of the psychiatrist and the therapist.
Yes.
And we have another great closing moment of Don.
I'm really glad they haven't made him younger and more attractive.
Okay.
and I like the fact that Don. I think he made a reference saying, "Oh, sometimes he looks down the top when she's lying down," stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
Betsy says it to Francine.
Yeah, that's it. There's no real threat there.
No.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm glad that she isn't going there and just sleeping with him, because that's a very easy thing to do with a psychiatrist plotline.
Yeah, girl on the train.
Well,
IT crowd and Terma visits.
yes.
The finest example of Metro.
Mum.
It's a weird, and it's never to be continued. It never comes up again. That's ladies' room. I have that. I don't have that. Which, well, we'll see if it makes it to the top 10. We'll see. I have one of your cuts, which I'm really shocked about, especially after finding out you like Roger. Is Long Weekend, Roger's heart attack episode.
Yes.
What didn't work for you?
This is the one with the twins, isn't it?
It is the one with the twins. Yes.
Yeah. I don't know. I just felt a bit sad for Don in this one. So,
yes,
because he's sat there and he's not enjoying it at all.
No.
I don't like it.
Yeah. I guess there is the creepy element. How many birthdays have you had? How old do we think they are? They say they're 20. They are not 20. 16? They're legal. It never comes up again.
It's dodgy. It's dodgy. He's all about saying his daughter is the same age as her.
Oh, but I don't see. This is the thing. I think you could make that weird sexual argument, but I think it's more so just that thing of he's got life is in. He feels like his life is passing him by. He thinks he can have everything, and he obviously can't. He thinks he can have Joan whenever he wants, and Joan's like, "No, I'm going to go out with my lesbian roommate who I'm going to ignore as lesbian, even when she says I love you."
When she openly puts everything out and
I mean, it's that wonderful wording of just pretend I'm a man, and the pain of the pain of Carol. Very, very well done scene, and then the payoff of that. Of the sex, and they, what are we going to do? And then they kiss.
And then he just jumps her.
He jumps her, and then she goes, no,
and then she's like, what?
All right then.
Want? Yeah, and you're like, oh my god.
This was actually put on the. So basically, for the Emmys, you submit. I think it's 3 episodes or so. You can't make everybody watch everything. So they have a DVD.
Like you're doing to me.
Yes, this is true. I should have just done 3 episodes.
Yeah,
which I don't think really works for dramas, because they are presuming that they've watched it.
I'm hoping they put chronological episodes in as well.
No. I think the Emmys for this one was Long Weekend, The Wheel, and Nixon versus Kennedy. The Wheel, and Nixon versus Kennedy, which are great choices.
Yeah.
Also, there's a lot of discussion about The Apartment, one of my favorite films.
Yes, I noticed that.
And that thing of Roger passes it off, and he's like, a white lift operator. Yeah, give me a break. And she's a woman. I want to work in that office. And she's like, no. She tried to kill herself.
Yeah.
And I think people forget. I mean, we talked about it a bit on our Apartment episode. That's one of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. And people forget how revolutionary The Apartment actually was. And like, people weren't used to going to see a light comedy and then Sheila MacLaine attempts suicide rather, halfway through. And it sort of brings us, because obviously that's very important to Joan as a Frank Kubelik herself. Obviously that leads poor Roger down his path that way. What else is in this episode? Oh, well, I mean, we have Don drunkenly coming home to Rachel and the payoff of that.
Yes.
Just Maggie, not Maggie Siff, sorry. Maggie Siff is, I am right. Maggie Siff is Rachel Menken. And her relationship with Don is a deeply, deeply effective one. Wonderful. And a great arc over this first season. And well, we'll see.
What I say, because I struggle to keep count with like, oh, who's that? Who's he with now?
Okay, yeah.
But I'm right in saying I'd say main lady wise, he's currently there's three. There's his wife and there's the two lovers.
Yes, and he's done. Yeah, and come the end of season 1, he's back to his wife because he's done with Midge, and he's done with Rachel. Do we think? I mean, we'll save that for Nixon versus Kennedy.
Well, it's a cliffhanger ending, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, it is. And then we leave. Just a lovely. I think this is just a great episode for Roger. Really, I think there is a better episode for Roger, but I think this is great work.
Yeah, it's. I think my favourite part about this episode was what's she called? Margot. Is that it? No, because he was like, oh, I wanted to call my daughter. But
Margaret. Yeah.
What was the actual name of the lady who was?
Oh, the twin. I can't remember.
But he kept
Marjorie. Mirabelle.
It's Mirabelle, and he's been whisked away. And then John Hamm's like, no, your wife's name is.
Oh, yeah. And he grabs the
bit.
hair and big slap. Yeah.
That's the best. That was the best bit of the episode for me.
And also, we have a lovely payoff with Mona coming to see him in hospital, and he's really
he feels awful. He's like, Christ, what have I done?
And Joan coming back to the office that night to write the memo to all the industry professionals,
and then he tells her, I don't care what Roger.
and Bert. So we know that Bert knows, which also means that Roger. It really, really does mean a lot to Roger, because Bert is not his father, but his father figure, this great idol of his, that triptych of, I mean, Roger's just a desperately lonely man. And that's what I think is the key of Red in the Face, the episode where he tries it on with Betty, is that he is then so desperate to not lose Don as a friend, because he really, really doesn't have anybody else. The Don-Roger relationship is a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Oh, it's a great thing.
Which takes us to, that's what I had at number 8. We've still not had any lock-ins yet. For new TV. I have it. Sorry, what was it? So your number, let me get these down. Your 10. Number 10.
Number 10, I had Indian Summer.
Number 10, I had Smoke Gets in Your Eyes. Number 9, I had Shoot. You had
Smoke Gets in Your Eyes.
Number 8, I had Long Weekend.
I had Ladies' Room.
Number 7, what did you have?
Marriage of Figaro.
Oh, yes. I had 5G, which you cut. So let's do 5G first. So you cut this. Not interested about Adam, are we? Not intrigued by Adam?
I think it's a way of. No, I was going to make a coronavirus joke, but I'm not going to.
You think it's? Yeah, I guess. This is So the key story here is Adam arriving, and the main. I thought this is a setup episode because I don't know if it was me or I'm hoping it's what the show was meant to make you think. I just kept thinking the whole time, this is just a con man who's just going to keep pestering Don until he pays him off and sends him away. Oh that's what they were trying to do. I think I think there's a lot more in what John Hamm's doing in his reactions. I think there's a lot of stuff where I thought
he was like, "Oh, give the guy a break. Yeah, I'll take him to the cafe and I'll just sit there because I'm lonely and I'll go along with it." I didn't realize it was actually his brother.
Yeah.
Until maybe the end of that episode, or even with the sort of the photos or the hanging. Like I still was like, this can't be right. Yeah.
Poor Adam. And
on the train.
He's there. No, he's not. Shut up. His horrible mother. and father. The I'm pointing at my mother. That's what I'm doing to remind me that she thought that he was going to kill him. She thought that's what it was all leading up to, and I think that's what the show's trying to make you think, because we have the shot of him putting the money in the briefcase that we don't see the money, and it sort of looks like he's going to put a gun in there, I think, is what they're trying to get at. That's certainly what my mum thought was going to happen, because this is another thing, is that the Mad Men was marketed as, in its first season, from one of the creators of The Sopranos. Matthew Weiner started off, he came in and he worked, I think it was the final 3 seasons.
The new Sopranos, it's the current generation of The Sopranos.
It was, so Matthew Weiner is, he was worked on the final seasons of The Sopranos. And then he got Mad Men. And then sort of so when it comes to the Emmys, it's Mad Men versus Breaking Bad, Mad Men versus Breaking Bad. Mad Men gets its first, I think it's 4 Best Drama Awards, and then it loses to Homeland one year, which is terrible. Well, not terrible. That first season was great, not as good as Mad Men season 5, but anyway. Then Game of Thrones, and then Breaking Bad. So it was up against a lot. I do think Mad Men is the best.
I've not done Breaking Bad yet.
Oh, Breaking Bad's excellent, and that's the main problem, that John Hamm never won his Best Actor, because he was always No, he won for the final season, and it was a big deal. And many people think, though, that he only won because Breaking Bad had finished.
Yeah, because I hear good things about Better Call Saul as well, which I hear is even better.
Yes, I've yet to do Better Call Saul, but Breaking Bad is truly excellent. The other element of 5G is the relationship of what was I going to say? Oh, this is the short story episode where they all are very angry about Ken getting his short story published, and then Pete tries to get his own published. And this is a real big episode for Trudy, I think.
Which leads us on to Aaron Staton. Is that
yes, as Ken. Do you love Ken?
Yes, I've always had a history with this man, because he's in a video game, which is still the greatest game of all. I am obsessed with LA Noire. I've been playing it for years and years. One of my first big, and obviously that's all sort of motion capture shot. And so, because he looks exactly the same.
It's him. Yes.
And obviously it's sort of, I think LA Noire set 10 years before, but it's still the same sort of like atmosphere, and it's quite nice to see him.
I loved LA Noire, I have to agree. The one thing I didn't like about LA Noire was that the sort of world, it wasn't like Grand Theft Auto, in that once you had to do the shit. Yeah, you couldn't go everywhere, and you couldn't use your gun.
Yeah,
I know you're a detective, but
I did enjoy running over my my colleague though, and then mission fails. And that great thing of Trudy having to go to the guy who she lost her virginity to, and he's still madly in love with her, and it's understandable. Let's talk about Trudy. We haven't talked about Trudy yet. The wonderful Alison Brie, who's just delightful and is far too good for Pete. Bloody Pete. I hate Pete.
And that great thing of what, and she goes, "I could have got you in the National Geographic. I could have got you in the Inquirer." And then why didn't you? Is he does he mean that, or is he just trying to be mean? Does Pete really want his wife to have sex with a man other than him?
It's because it's not about him. The conversation has to be about him and his work and how he's the best. And whenever it's about her, he doesn't care.
What I would give to come home to that meal and to come home to Alison Brie.
I did enjoy him saying, "I'm going home and there's going to be a meal there for me." I'm like, yes. That was my reaction to early years in my relationship, when I first went home after rehearsal and there was a pasta bake. I'm like, this is
what they're talking about, isn't it? This is the good stuff. Still No match. We move on to
Yes.
number 6. What's your number 6?
I just said Marriage of Figaro, haven't I? My number 6.
Marriage of Figaro is your 7. We'll talk about that when it gets
my
to...
number 6 is the Hobo Code.
I got the Hobo Code higher. So again, we will leave the Hobo Code. I've got at number 6 one of your cuts. I've got New Amsterdam.
Right.
The episode where we... a sort of bizarre episode because as well as having lots of time with Pete and meeting Pete's parents, who
I've not cut New Amsterdam.
Haven't you? Oh
no.
Where's New Amsterdam?
For me, it's higher.
Okay, let's leave that then. Let's talk about Marriage of Figaro, my number 5. And I think Marriage of Figaro is the 3rd episode. I always say give a show 3 episodes. I always say that because at the end of episode 3 of Twin Peaks, there is a sudden dancing dwarf and lots of bizarre things that happen at the end of episode 3. And if you watch just the first episode, I don't think you know what you're getting in for. So this is a very different case here. There is no dancing dwarf in the end of Mad Men episode 3. However, it does bring us into the world of there will be times where we just sit with Don.
Yeah.
And, maybe he's contemplating suicide. There is that constant threat of this is just as a... Like my mum noticed it with the credits, and she's like, so she did her classic thing of like when we watched Mother alone in a cinema because nobody else was there, and it ended and she went, do you want me to tell you what that movie was about? It was about men taking advantage of the women that make them the men they are. And she did the same here. She was like, so my thing with the credits is that he's falling and he can't help it, in that he can't stop himself. And she's more or less pegged it, I think. We are watching a man in a constant spiral. He should have everything he would ever want.
Yeah.
An astoundingly beautiful wife who is, for the most part, happy being a housewife. It's not an acrimonious marriage. 3 beautiful children. Bobby's going to change actors 3 times, by the way. Get ready for that if you think that Bobby...
He's already annoying me anyway. The way he ate his breakfast in one episode, I'm like, come on.
Well, this is the thing. They're very lucky with Kiernan Shipka as Sally Draper, because obviously Kiernan Shipka is now Sabrina. She is now a massive actress. Yeah. And it's Sally the whole way through. And she is an incredible little actress. That sounds very condescending, but she's like a child. She's like a child in the 3rd season where she gets some serious stuff. And then and then when she becomes a teenager, there's some great stuff.
I was thinking this. Obviously, we're going to see the kids grow up because it goes on for so long as well. Yeah.
Sally stays the same, but Bobby, little Bobby, changes 3 times. By the time that we get the 3rd and final Bobby, which I think is season 5, he's great.
Okay.
But
it's like Ben Mitchell on EastEnders.
It's like Rachel Dawes. I just want to tell you, I've chose, and it's best moment in the film. Marriage of Figaro. We have basically this is a real Don spiral episode, and he gets turned down by Rachel after they kiss. Well, not turned down, but they go and study Mencken's, and she's more than into it. And he goes, "Yeah, no, I'm married." And when they're showing the dogs on the roof, that's very nice. And then that sort of puts him in a thing of, oh, I thought I could have anything I want. I can have sex with Midge whenever I want. But and then he comes home for the. We didn't talk about. Oh no, we're saving New Amsterdam. Sorry. And then the wonderful birthday party with Helen Bishop, the divorcee. Whose child is Glenn, who we'll talk about when we get to New Amsterdam.
Oh, Glenn.
Glenn.
A great name as well.
And he just leaves.
Do we keep Glenn?
Oh, we keep Glenn.
Oh, I'm excited for more Glenn.
We get more Glenn. He sort of disappears a little bit, then he pops back up. And he's like, "Oh my God, you've grown." And
He's got another tooth.
yes, all I want for Christmas is my two front teeth. And the wonderful birthday party sequence, which culminates in Don maybe going and just considering suicide. And then he comes home with the dog. It's like just another fuck you to Betty, basically. Of like, now you're going to have to care for this dog as well. Like, I love in the next episode when Betty's walking and she walks past Helen's house and her husband's trying to get in, and she's clearly been left to walk the dog. Wonderful stuff. What did you like about Marriage of Figaro?
I like that sort of pretty much everything you've said. Again, going back to that part as well, that we see more of a family dynamic, that, and then with him putting up the shed. I liked all of that. That was good.
And also, this episode starts with the introduction of sort of the new ideas of advertising, which are obviously going to colour the rest of the season, with the Volkswagen lemon advert. And it's the thing of, oh no, we may have to change. It's not just going to be Sal painting a nice woman in a bikini standing next to a car anymore. It's going to be things are getting different. We are at our midway point. I've just talked about my 5. We're going to talk about your 5 after we do a rundown of a few categories, which we do. These are the categories. Here we go. Best end song. Best use of an end song. There's a lot of great nominees. I'm going with Bob Dylan. Don't Think Twice, It's All Right. Which we'll talk about when we get to the wheel. The wheel, and that incredible moment of Don sat alone on the stairs, and that incredible Bob Dylan song coming up. What would be your nomination?
I've gone for Fly Me to the Moon.
Oh yeah, great track. And that the thing of the sex. Is that just the world's? Is that just? Is that just the world's like go-to sex song? Because we watched Bridget Jones's. I know it's not, but we watched Bridget Jones's Diary again yesterday, and that one of the Hugh Grant sex montages is set to "Fly Me to the Moon." That exact version, actually, the Julie London version.
It's very good. Very good.
My Special Angel by Bobby Helms for the shooting of the pigeons is also a great track. And we can't not mention On the Street Where You Live, which perfectly brings us into this entire world. However, this is my biggest issue with the first season, is the use of the song Great Divide by the Cardigans, which closes out Ladies' Room. I love the Cardigans. I love the song. It's the only time an anachronistic song's used. It's the only time a song not period accurate is used. And it's glaring.
Slight tangent.
Go on.
Bridgerton is a thing. But my mum just finished watching it and she doesn't get it all. She doesn't get why, and I don't either, why this is now Netflix's biggest show ever. But all of these, when they have these big ball dancers or whatever, and they've got the classical band, they're playing Billie Eilish songs on the violins.
I like my classical covers of Billie Eilish to be Andrew Lloyd Webber sat at his piano. I have a bad Cinderella.
Billie's got a bad guy.
Do 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 do.
The eyes are going tick tock.
Yes, I think
I sent you that meme.
You did, I cherish it.
Very proud.
But all in all, and I've no problem really with anachronistic music. We talked about.
Sometimes it works.
In our Tarantino episodes, we talked about it.
When you're going for the whole theme and these sort of.
This is a show where This is a show where they checked the weather reports. Like, this is how much they checked the TV schedules. If there's a TV on, obviously on the election day they know what's on. But if not, they would check and they would check when episodes were airing so that the calendars made sense. And so I just feel, obviously, it's a very good song to bring in because it perfectly shows up. You know, there is a great divide between men and women. That's the whole point of the show, arguably. No, it's not. That's not the point of the show. The point of the show is a exploration of tragedy in the American life and the American dream and identity. Our other nominees are very simply Best Don episode, Best Betty episode, Best Pete episode, Best Joan, Best Roger, Best Peggy. Here we go. I've gone for Don the Wheel.
I've gone Don the Wheel.
It's a good lock. We're going to talk about the Wheel in a minute. Pete is obviously New Amsterdam. That's what I've gone for you.
Yeah, I agree.
Betty, I've gone for Shoot. It's obviously a tie maybe between
I've gone
Shoot
as well for Betty.
It's Shoot or Ladies' Room, but I think it's Shoot. I think Shoot. However, her final touching moment with Glenn in the Wheel is maybe a winner. The Wheel. Joan, I've gone. Joan's a tough one in this first season. Joan comes more into her own in later seasons.
I've gone Babylon for Joan.
I've gone Long Weekend because I think that her flirtations or lack thereof with Carol, and her got great stuff with Roger. However, no, I agree with you. We're going to lock in Babylon because I mean, did you see that coming, Roger and Joan?
No.
Joni. Oh, anytime he says Joni, oh my God.
What does he call her? Red.
Red. Joni. Anytime that Roger calls Joan Joni or Red, my heart breaks a little. And every time Don calls Betty Birdie. Well, there's more. Oh God, it's the best show I've made. Peggy, I'm going the Hobo Code, where she has sex with Pete. And
that's my nomination. I have gone the Wheel for Peggy because great acting. Great acting.
But I think we're going to talk about the Hobo Code very soon. And for Roger, I've gone for Red in the Face, where
I've gone for Red in the Face.
Tries it on with Betty, and then the oysters. And we then have Best You Don't Know Who's Here for one season or not.
No, I've left this out.
So we won't say. So I'm not going to call it Best. I'm not going to say best one season person. It's best supporting season performance of somebody who's not in the top 6 that we've said.
I'm going to go for Glenn.
Okay, I was going to go for Rachel Menken, but I guess I guess it is Glenn. I want your hair. Will, what did you have at number 5?
Number 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. I need to find a better format for this. I did, of course, at number 5 have the Hobo Code.
Yeah, let's talk about it now. I've got it at 4, but let's talk about it now. The Hobo Code. This is Pete and Peggy kicking it off again and her ripping her thing, but she doesn't care. And her getting
the first episode where we open with a flashback.
Yes. Yeah. Well, God. Why don't you show pictures so I know? Are you on about when he slips and falls?
Yes.
No, that's Babylon.
Oh, is it? Okay, I do apologize.
Babylon. This does have loads of flashbacks though.
Oh yeah.
This is the hobo that comes.
Well, this is going back to and his proper childhood,
and the signs of the hobo,
scary
the hobo code. Yes, and those are great flashbacks.
What I'm excited by that is what about Don or Dick's father? Do we not know? Because obviously he put "Here lives a dangerous man" code. Yeah, I think. Or is that just in response to the fact of him being hostile?
He's just like a shit. He's just a shit guy, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's like, move on. Get gone. And I don't even think it's necessarily dangerous, but just, I mean, it obviously is. That's what that is.
Yeah.
But it's just the thing of, he's a terrible guy. And it just brings home, perhaps to Dick, that this isn't normal. Yeah. My childhood isn't like everybody else's. my parents are terrible, terrible people. Other people's aren't this horrible and mean.
Yeah.
We have the great stuff with Midge, the sort of culmination of that, where they all get high and.
It's advertising guy.
Yeah, you sell the and they're like, they go, yeah, no, I sleep on a bed of money. Oh no, sorry, that's Babylon.
Yeah, that is Babylon.
How do you sleep? Scene. I sleep on a bed of money.
Yeah, I like that.
I mean, if he's a philandering guy, I don't know why he doesn't take up the blonde lady's offer. I guess it's because he's into Midge. And that he's like, because he does seem a little bit affected when he's like, "Oh no, you're in love."
It's probably the fact that he's pissed off. He thought he was just going around for a nice little bump, and then this dickhead comes along preaching, and he has to go along with all of this, and he's hoping by the end of it he gets private time, and he just does the job and leave.
He wants more than private time. He wants to take her to Paris. He's got the bonus check, which. It was, so it's $2,500. That's $22,000, which is insane.
The combo.
It did it for me on IMDb. Oh yes. In 2020, that's $22,000.
Yeah.
That's an awful lot.
That's a big bonus.
And
that's a salary for some people.
Yeah. And so we bring in the sort of Mark Your Man campaign. With the basket of kisses, which is an earlier episode, but that comes to fruition here. And just that great thing of Peggy feeling sexy and feeling powerful and feeling great, and then Pete shutting her down. I don't like you when you're like this.
Yeah.
With the twist.
I think this might be the episode where he's on about, there's a story where and he just sits her down and he talks to her. Might be one of them. I don't know. And
and also we have as we talked about before, Salvatore and his encounter. Just a brilliant. This isn't a spoiler, but one of Matthew Weiner's original plot ideas, because in the 60s, all of the gay bars and gay clubs were obviously highly, highly illegal and highly underground. And so they were ran by the mob. And so Matthew Weiner had this whole idea where it was like, oh my God, Sal's going to go to one of these bars and he's going to fall in love with a mob boss and we're going to have that. And Brian Batt, who plays Sal, said, no, Sal would never go to one of those places. And I think that is so telling of the nature of Sal's closeted. And
I think I've not seen that. This is one of the best sort of not coming out, but revealing to the audience of this character's true sexuality scenes that I've seen done. I think it's very good.
It's just exceptional.
There's this. I'd say the only time I've seen it done better was probably in The Prom, with.
And Tracy Ullman shows up. Oh Jesus Christ! Don't get me fucking started on The Prom. Gosh, The Prom.
Super nearly did it. It would have been the UK premiere of The Prom. The Prom's never been put on in a UK theatre,
hasn't it? What about? I thought it was. Oh no, it was Be More Chill, wasn't it? That was going to get.
I was going to put on the premiere, but of course I wasn't because I picked a better show.
You picked a better show, and that worked out well as well.
Thank you.
Bloody COVID. I do sometimes think, let's get depressing. I do sometimes think about a world without COVID, and I think, where am I?
You would have come to Sheffield for
I would have come to Sheffield for a wonderful steak. But beyond that, it's an odd one.
We wouldn't have this podcast.
That's true.
It would be a better one.
Did you? Yeah. So Hobo Code is your number 6.
It is.
What's your number 5? Marriage of Figaro is my 5. Your number 5
is, of course, the wonderful Babylon.
Babylon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
great episode.
Knockout. We meet. We are introduced to the romance.
Yes, this is a great sort of further introduction of of the Roger relationship. I think that's great.
So
Seeing
this
him
is
get
number.
jealous.
So this is. Oh, sorry. Go on.
Sorry. Yeah, it's just that seeing him get jealous when they're all the very creepy.
Oh, and they all come in one by one by one
Yeah.
by one, and
I
they all
love
have their
that.
own singer. Oh,
Yeah.
have I missed it yet? No,
Yeah.
we should train them.
And then the Roger turns up and he's like, "Oh, what have I missed?" Sorry, I'm like, but and they're all watching it, and then obviously she knows what she's doing.
Oh
she's
yeah, she
flirting.
does.
And then
I
the guy
want to
from
salute
LA,
that.
Noah, and then Roger's not happy, and he's like, hold on, what are my actual intentions here? I need to rethink what I'm doing.
And it's that thing of, I just think the writing is so good that they talk that I want to put you in a, obviously putting you in a cage could be quite an obvious metaphor when he buys the bird, but it's that thing of no, it's then also so subtle, and oh god, incredible. And then we have
great scene,
them playing Babylon.
Yes,
the streets of Babylon.
I prefer Boney M.
If they went up on that stage and just went, and they've had a tape recorder playing The Sound of Waves by the rivers of Babylon, that would be better. I do agree.
It would.
At number 4, I have Hobo Code, which we just talked about. At number 4, you have?
Number 4, I have episode 4, New Amsterdam.
New Amsterdam. I have at 6. Oh, it's gonna be an odd one.
It is.
Oh, it's gonna be tough. Yes, this is our episode with Pete, and the apartment. So you didn't feel sorry for him in the slightest, not even a little.
I sympathise because obviously any financial struggle is not nice.
Yeah.
But I think it's the way he goes about finding the money. Then, obviously, it's sad that his parents reject him, but the sort of sleazy, what he's up to, and I don't like him enough to think, oh, okay, help the guy out. I know his intention from the beginning, which I think that's why I didn't.
And it's Trudy's parents are so lovely, and
Yes.
and it's that he just doesn't understand.
Yeah.
It's so alien to him to have
And
loving, caring parents.
yeah, and then he ruins it when obviously, so she then jumps at the opportunity to get financial support, and he's like, "What the hell were you doing?"
Because we're in 61, and that sort of provider mentality.
And she's like, "What's wrong with that?" Yeah, that they're not my parents; they're yours. Think about me. And she's like, "No, think about me. What you don't care about me." It's great. That's a great scene.
Alison Brie's marvelous. I don't know the timeline of Alison Brie, but I think this may be the first big thing, and then obviously that she does Community, which is a fine show, very funny.
Yes, and of course, New Amsterdam is where we meet Glenn.
Yes, it is. Glenn,
my new favorite.
Your new favorite character. Will, do you know who plays Glenn?
Who plays Glenn?
Glenn is played by, what's his name? I want to get it. Glenn is played by Martin Holden Weiner. It's Matthew Weiner's son.
Oh, great.
Yes. And he's not, I don't think he's an exceptional actor. I think he's very good at playing a weird, stunted child.
Yes. Yes.
And it's that thing of, because my mum was worried, she said, "Oh, it's not going to be like, oh, it's not weird, is it?" And I go,
yeah, because there is the sort of, it almost makes you think, oh, is Betty going to go along with this?
Yeah,
because obviously
is this the slow setup to a pedophile subplot?
That's exactly what you think, because she's obviously not in a stable condition in it. But I think what's clever about it is, well, obviously he walks in on her and he doesn't move, and then I think it's more telling of his mum and that sort of the parentship than him himself, and you think, what's going on there?
And also you have the very interesting dynamic. There is so much more to Betty as a character, but she does want to be a Barbie doll. She is that beautiful, elegant, blonde, slim, attractive ideal of what a woman should be in this time, and she loves being it. She used to be a model, and she loves getting back into the modeling. And when
it makes her feel good about herself.
it makes her feel good about herself. And so to have somebody, even if it's a child, literally idolize her and go, you know, you're so beautiful.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, I'll give the hair. And then just, and it's never really, really, really hit me before. But her scene with Glenn in the car and the wheel,
Yeah,
really got me this time.
yeah.
And I was like, wow.
The only person she can really speak to about this is Glenn.
Is Glenn a stunted child? Glenn offering his mittened hand.
Yeah. And then him saying, I don't really know how long 20 minutes is.
It is wonderful. I don't want there to be an extended romance plot, but if it continued, poor
I wouldn't
Glenn.
say no.
I wouldn't say no. Poor Glenn, poor Betty, and then Ella Fitzgerald singing Manhattan takes us away.
Yeah.
I have a cozy flat in what is known as Old Manhattan.
I don't want to say anything, but I believe we have the same top 3.
Yeah, we do.
Which is fantastic.
In what order?
That makes me happy because regardless, I would love our top 1 to be the same. But I'm going to say my episode 3, my third favorite was The Wheel.
That's our first look. Our first look is the wheel.
The Wheel.
So we can lock that in.
Zone.
We're jamming. Soul music with Chris Eubank.
Reggae South. I don't think that rock bands would be singing about hell.
Yeah, they talk about the South, and it is a roads go forward. For those of you who don't know, what on earth we're talking about?
Holding his cane.
Holding his cane. Watch Chris Eubank's episode of The Wheel. So, like, this is where we solidify what Mad Men is.
Yeah.
The amount of, there's a great SNL sketch where they got a few of the real people in to parody Mad Men, and it's that thing of, it's the image of Harry crying after the Wheel speech, which isn't ridiculous after
Harry. I mean, speech. I think we should address that Harry is Tom's long lost brother.
What? Oh yeah.
The spitting image.
It's not me at all.
I'm hoping in your editing now you're putting a giant picture of you and him side by side. You in Footloose.
You know what? I don't need to, because I've got my Footloose glasses right here. Hello, I'm Harry Crane.
With a beard.
I'm Harry Crane. Yes, I'm Harry Crane with a beard. Oh, Jennifer. Oh no, let me home. Let me home. And no, and then and then yes. So he's in the office.
Yes.
He's been kicked out.
And this is purely the reason why this is my best Don episode is that Wheel speech.
I mean the carousel speech.
He sold it to me. I want to buy it.
The carousel speech is arguably the most famous scene in all of Mad Men. Right. I have a book called The Mad Men Carousel, which is all about the episodes. It's all about Mad Men, obviously, and it just is the thing that solidifies it. It's that thing of, he is the greatest salesman in the world, or at least in the world of this show, and it's realistic. We can believe that he would write this pitch. It's not like 10 movie writers have written it. It's believable as an ad pitch. It sells the product. We have Peggy's pregnancy reveal. Did the pregnancy reveal work for you, or did you? Because I remember the first time I watched it, and I Googled afterwards, can that happen? Can people not be pregnant? And
it was a double twist for me in the fact that, first of all, I didn't see it coming. Obviously, when he's like, you're pregnant. And then, but she was actually, it wasn't she was pregnant, she was giving birth. That's why she was in pain. That was the double kicker. But yeah, it was very well done. But obviously, are we led to believe that that's Pete's baby?
Oh, it's definitely Pete's baby, yeah.
It's definitely,
she hasn't had sex with anybody else, has she?
Yeah. So, right, so that, as I said at the beginning of the episode, I'm looking forward to seeing where that goes next. Yeah.
And my mum was like, why does she like him? And I said, well, do you think this is a girl that has had this sort of attention before? You know, she's as we talked about, she's not necessarily the most attractive girl in the conventional sense. She's from a small town. You know, I don't think Peggy has ever been the sexual nobody's ever wanted to have sex with her. And so why wouldn't she get sucked in by it all? And why wouldn't she go with a guy, you know, this is my last chance before my honeymoon? And obviously the child is the thing of it. And don't you want to look at it just once? Don't you want to see it? He goes, no.
It's a love child.
Just a love child. And it sort of also gives us a timeline for the show of 9 months or so. I don't know whether it was the sofa against the door or not. I can't remember. The other great thing about the sofa against the door is the black cleaner that they're mean to, and then
when the cleaner comes in and you see the silhouette,
and he just shakes
and
his
he's
head.
just like, I see it every day. These crazy people,
bad men. They're always having sex and they're always smoking, and I think you're right. It does, the way that it is talked about is a Wolf of Wall Street vibe, and if you go into this thinking it's going to be, you know, I'd take Quaaludes every day when he throws the champagne flute. It was a white car like Don Johnson in Miami Vice. You're not going. This is not the show that you're going to expect, and the most incredible ending to an episode I've ever seen. Breaks my heart every time.
They pretend they do a trick. He comes home and everything's fine and he's back with Betty and they go have Thanksgiving together. And then they do it again and she's not there.
I remember the first time I watched this and I bawled like a baby. I literally cried.
I experienced that this morning.
Yeah, because it's not in the visual language of the show.
No.
There are no spoilers. There are a few times where rules are broken, let's say visually, narratively.
Oh, I'm hoping there's a breaking the fourth wall.
No.
Okay.
Well, you could say, well, we'll see. But no, I know you love breaking the fourth wall, don't you?
Does John Hamm ever turn to the camera and goes, I guess I really am a madman.
A madman. And go, oh, John, no, you got that wrong. He turns to the camera with a southern accent and goes, oh, these people have no idea. I've been rigging them. That pitch I wrote 5 days ago. And then suddenly he's played by Christopher Plummer. Rest in peace.
Oh, this is our first episode without Christopher Plummer.
Recorded.
Because he's appeared in all of the others.
We've still not done a Christopher Plummer. No, that's a lie. Oh no, it's not a lie. Girl with the Dragon Tattoo hasn't come out yet. So we have ones in the bank, Christopher, and we're not going to say the late or anything in it because we don't know that you're going to pass.
Oh.
How sad.
Really sad.
I mean, what a finale.
Yeah. Great ending. Ending.
Great. And obviously he calls and finds out about Adam. Just terrible.
Yes.
Oh.
Also, I've got questions then about this whole. It's this episode where she finds the friend comes along about the phone bills and finding out that.
Yes, that incredible. Yes, what an incredible setup for the payoff of that as well. Yeah.
So, are we led to believe that it's fine? That because she rings up and it's the
therapist,
isn't it? Yeah.
I think basically she finds out that Don knows everything that she says in therapy. She can't say to him, "Are you cheating on me?"
Oh, which is then why. Yeah. She sends to the therapist.
Like she's doing. Sometimes he's trying to make me happy when he's talking about their sex.
Yeah.
But it's sometimes he's doing what I want, but sometimes it's so clear that it's what somebody else wants.
Yeah.
And that also brings in their sexual dynamic of what we see with Midge is sort of a bit rougher, maybe a bit more not dangerous, but a bit, slapdash. And so, yeah, bringing that into their bedroom, and she knows it. She can feel it.
Does she know he's having an affair?
Well, this is the thing. I think she suspects it.
I think she wants to hope he isn't.
Of course, she hopes.
This is her last fleeting chance to pretend she does know in order to make him stay. That's what she's doing.
There is the earlier moment, very early on, where they're joking about school, and I think they're on about her first kiss, and she's like, "How did you do in school?" And he says, does the classic, I was great at biology, and he starts kissing with her, and then she goes, "No, you failed. Why did I fail? Because you were caught cheating." And it's that wink thing of, she doesn't know, she can't know. There's nothing, because there is lots to know, obviously, but there's nothing she could know finding things out. So the amount of times I just guffaw and just sigh and just go, wow, it's the greatest show ever made. That's the wheel.
This is where. So okay, I'm confident with my number one.
Okay.
What have you got number two, Tom?
At number two, I have Red in the Face.
I have Red in the Face at number one.
Okay. Okay. Let's talk about Red in the Face first, because that's the sort of earlier on.
Yeah.
You are right. It's number two. I mean, well, no, it's
the best episode.
It's Roger. This is the Roger show, and So again, we got the thing of, and also it's not just the Roger show. It's also about Pete's emasculation as well, because this is also the episode with the chip and dip and him buying the rifle.
Yeah.
Which is an incredibly bizarre.
Everyone asking, "What's that?" It's a chip and dip.
It's a chip and dip. That's a big thing in the Mad Men meme community, and I don't want you to join the meme groups.
Bet it is.
You can't join the meme groups.
I'm not going to join them
until afterwards, because I don't want anything to be spoiled. You're a
well, I won't be able to answer the entry questions until I've seen everything.
That's true. It's all about emasculation in all of its forms.
Yeah.
Show creator Matthew Weiner told Vanity Fair that the chip and dip that Pete returns in this episode had actually been a wedding gift to his parents. That's where he got that. Chip and dip is said 6 times in this episode. 5 of those times are within the first 23 minutes. We got 2 is said 4 times. It feels like more. But
it was a gift.
It was a gift. And that is a wonderful subplot. But this is really the episode of Roger.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a tale of 3 parts, really. You've got obviously that first sort of going to the meeting and the sort of dinner party. Then he brings him home. You then have that dynamic of bringing Roger into his life. No one wants it to happen, and then he starts making advances. And then you've got that wonderful finale, sort of where they go for oysters, and he just throws out his guts.
And he's paid off the elevator attendant.
Yeah.
I love Don's confidence. I'm going to be all right.
Yeah.
Are you an oyster man?
I've never had an oyster.
Oysters,
because obviously a lot of people are allergic as well, so I might be allergic.
Yeah, we in Florida. There's a lovely like sea, like by the lake thing in downtown Disney, and we have oysters and we have cocktails, and I literally had an old fashioned and a few oysters. God.
I do like an old fashioned. The old fashions at the Alchemist are very nice.
They are, because they're sweeter as well.
Yeah.
They use maple syrup.
And they're smoked. The smoked as well.
Yes.
And they're great.
And they put the big ball in.
Yeah. The big ball of ice. I get one every time.
Oh, well, one day we'll have an old fashioned. One day they will open. They'll open them, please. I love the scene of him telling the true story or just true metaphor story or whatever of parking his car in the wrong garage as an analogy of hitting on somebody's wife. And it's just exceptional. John Slattery really is the secret sauce, I think, of the show. Because in many ways, he is... If you were ticking boxes and you just went, lots of money, rich and privileged, married, young children, affairs, and excessive drinking, if you removed the health issue, I could be describing Don or Roger. And John Slattery is not an ugly man. He has he's got that. I'm sure there'll be many people who...
the silver fox vibe.
Yes, he's got a big silver fox vibe. But it sort of is the thing of, if you don't look like John Hamm, you can't get away with some of this stuff. And that is obviously the whole point of the character. There's a great bit later on where there's an argument and somebody just says, "You're just attractive." and it's that thing of people trying to be Don Draper and taking the wrong lessons from the show. And if you don't look like John Hamm, you're not going to get away with it. You can't. Yeah. Why can't I be like Don Draper? Why can't women fall for me all the time? It's because you don't look like John Hamm.
Above 6 foot.
I am. I am tall, dark, handsome.
And he's currently single.
John Hamm?
No, you.
Oh, I am single, yes.
Yeah, I'm promoting you, Tom.
Thank you, Will. This comes out...
Maybe watching.
Hopefully, by the time this comes out... Oh, God.
Oh, I doubt it.
Oh, thanks. It's nearly...
This comes out just before Christmas, doesn't it?
Oh, Will. Let's hope. Oh, God, another year. Oh, Jesus. Anyway, enough about my miserable life. Let's move to the miserable life of Donald Draper. So, yeah, red in the face. I am... Right. Usually, I'd give it to you.
Oh.
Oh, matron. However, for me, there is no greater episode in this first season, no finer culmination of the show.
Oh, I'll give it to you because I think the Kennedy Nixon is like the ultimate Mad Men episode.
Yeah.
Of this series, whereas obviously Red in the Faces, it's a character study. It's a bit tongue in cheek. It's a bit more light-hearted, but also a great story. But this is sort of the ultimate episode of the first series. That's where.
Okay, so we can lock in those three straight away. So this is everything. We meet, we know, we learn. I don't know. I'm just going to get up the synopsis and we're just going to break it down. So break it down. It's the election of Kennedy versus Nixon. Obviously, they worked on the Nixon campaign a bit. Kennedy. We have that incredible party, which kicks all this off, where they have the great moment of doing Paul's play.
Yeah.
And Sal,
that's great.
Sal is really...
That.
And,
he's going for it. He's going for it. Thespian.
And the thing of that shitheel Cosgrove or something is like, oh, that's great. really well written. Yeah. And he hasn't bothered changing the names. And Joan, and that a nice little moment there with him and Joan.
When they dance.
Yeah, and the payoff of them having an affair before.
That's one of my changes. She takes the shoes off, and there's cigarette butts all over the floor. She's gonna burn her feet. I've done that before. I was at Junction 32 outside BB's, and I dropped a 50p on the floor. So I went on my hands and knees, and I put my hand on a cigarette, and it blistered the whole hand. Just imagine that for poor Joan.
I had a close experience to that where I accidentally my muscle, what's it called, your calf? I don't know.
I can't see.
a bit of my leg touched the exhaust, and that hurts. That burns. That burns. Feel the burn. that great party, which Peggy leaves.
Yes.
Because she's not feeling it. And but then we also have our war flashbacks. We finally learn the full truth.
And that sort of that ending and how we learn what the reason. It's always been hinted at that he's a deserter, he's a coward.
Yeah.
And we find out what actually happened, and that is just stunning. And I think the fact that it's very dark comedy, isn't it? Because it's just him going, "Oh, you've pissed yourself, have I? Whoa, drop the lighter."
Well, it's realistic.
Tragic. Yeah,
it's not like this big thing of they get gunned down, and it's this big tragic thing. I mean, it's still tragic, but it's this thing of you've pissed yourself, and he drops the lighter, and blown the shit up, and that charred, bloody corpse of the real Donald Draper, and this is his chance. This is literally his one chance in life, to make a new start and to have a life. And
just the look, I love how obviously he's in hospital, and you get the whole, on behalf of the president, we're going to give you this medal. You're going to go home. We commend you, sir. And I love how all of that, we're only looking at a close-up of his reaction.
And he does great young acting work. You can tell he's 10 years younger. He looks the same, obviously, but it's weird, isn't it? How a bit of hair. I don't know whether they did. The only
time when it's obvious is when his brother's running after him on the train.
And also, the payoff of that is obviously that I don't know how it's made him a sex stud immediately, but the woman, can I buy a soldier a drink?
And you're like, this is where it begins. There you go.
This is my life now. I'm not going to be a small town boy. I'm going to be a big town boy. And she says, you've got to leave. Little does she know what she's saying to him, but you've got to leave that dead boy in the box. You've got to leave him,
Yeah.
Incredible stuff. And then the third part of this is Pete bloody Campbell.
Oh.
And he thinks he's got the up.
He does.
And no. Mr. Campbell. Who cares?
Yeah.
There's an old Japanese saying. A man is.
Imagine if Al Pacino played.
Camel. Who cares? There's a Japanese saying. Have you read Ayn Rand?
It's perfect.
Take your shoes off. Take your shoes off.
But it's great.
Why are you wearing? I don't like shoes. Bert Cooper, great performer, great performer. And that is Nixon v Kennedy. Now, we can lock in Nixon v Kennedy at 1.
To do, haven't we?
Red in the Face number 2. The Wheel number 3.
The Wheel.
That's the last time that we do that. Now, let me get those locked in. Okay. Now, my number 4 is the Hobo Code. That's your number 5. Your number 4 is New Amsterdam. That's my number 6. So basically, it's Hobo Code, New Amsterdam.
Where's Babylon for you?
Babylon.
You left it off.
I left it off, but I will. But talking about it again, I'm gonna. Don't worry. So, seeing as you gave me Nixon versus Kennedy, I'm gonna let you have New Amsterdam at 4.
Well, thank you.
Then it's the Hobo Code at 5.
Yeah.
Then I've got Marriage of Figaro at 5. You've got it at 7. You have Babylon at 5. I don't have Babylon. I'm giving you Babylon, so we'll do Marriage of Figaro at 6.
Fantastic.
Then Babylon at 7. Babylon.
I'm happy to swap Ladies' Room for.
I have Long Weekend at 8.
Yeah, I'm happy to take away Ladies' Room and shove in Long Weekend, which I eliminated from my list.
Yeah, Long Weekend. Then Smoke Gets in Your Eyes is the last one that we both agree on, so that gets locked in at 9.
Yeah.
And then we just have our 10th spot.
Indian Summer.
Yeah, I'll go for Indian Summer's cute. Wait, are we Indian Summer or Shoot?
I hate Shoot.
Why did you hate Shoot?
Rubbish. Boring.
Boring. Right, Indian Summer it is. We have knocked out our first Mad Men podcast. 6 to go. How tremendously exciting! Before I'm going to run down these 10 episodes, and then we'll see where we are. Number 10, Indian Summer. Number 9, Smoke Gets in Your Eyes. Number 8, Long Weekend. Number 7, Babylon. Number 6, Marriage of Figaro. Number 5, Hobo Code. Number 4, New Amsterdam. Number 3, The Wheel. Number 2, Red in the Face. Number 1, Nixon versus Kennedy. Nixon versus Kennedy. Red in the Face. That's season 1 of Mad Men. Will, in regards to final thoughts, I want a prediction.
Oh.
And I want a prediction of what you think you will see more of and what you want to see more of.
I think I will see the rise of Pete and the fall of Pete. The rise of Pete business-wise, because he's getting there. He's doing well. He's got his connections now, but also he's now. I don't know whether he'll be made aware of the baby, but I think he'll hang on to his wife for a bit more. I don't think it's series 3 until that starts crashing. And obviously, I want to see more Roger.
Oh, I love Roger.
And I want to see, I want to see the gap now between Don on the train and Don meeting Betty.
Oh, so you want more flashbacks?
I want to understand him more.
Okay, yeah. Well, I don't want to say anything, but we will see what comes of that. Well, I'm so glad that because I dare say you're in.
Not yet.
Not yet. You seriously wouldn't say you're in?
Oh. Yeah, okay, I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm in. Yeah.
You're in.
Yeah.
You're in.
The Wheel.
The Wheel. Mad Men Series 1, 6 to go. It only gets better. You know what? I want to salute that.
Dabba 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 da da ba 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 ba